This one's about a guy they refer to as a quote-unquote house tuner, played by Peter Sarsgaard. And essentially what he is some sort of sound specialist slash guru. He's obsessed with sound and silence and all the noise around us, and the frequencies they emit and the harmonies they create. And his work basically involves tuning people's houses, making sure there aren't any noises around that cause issues, that aren't in harmony with the surroundings. That's the basic premise here, and I will say that it's a pretty unique premise. I can't claim to have seen this one explored in a movie before, so it does at the very least get points for originality, that's for sure. Now thematically it deals with a lot of different things. From obsession to overworking to dealing with loss and breakups and more. I mean, it really touches on a wide variety of things. Something you might not expect just based on the premise alone. And the main story also deals with one particular client he's working with, played by Rashida Jones. And the two main performances here are really good. Subtle and toned down, but good. And from a technical perspective, it's also a very well made movie. It looks good, it's shot well, the editing's restrained and not all over the place. And yeah, overall this is just a well made movie I didn't really have any major issues with. I also like the atmosphere and the very calm and slow pace it's set. And it never really picked up in that sense either, although things do escalate. But it just takes its time and never feels like it's rushing or anything. Now, what did I get out of it, and what is it trying to say? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but it does seem to put a lot of emphasis on the noise in our modern society. I mean, especially if you live in a city, the noise is just constant. So much so that you probably just learn to tune it out and ignore it most of the time. But that doesn't necessarily mean it still can't be harmful. It might still be causing stress and anxiety on a more subconscious level. And a lot of people just work too much, which doesn't help either. So I think what it's trying to say is that maybe taking a step back could be a good thing. One should probably take a look at one's life and see if there isn't one or two things you could improve on. Maybe there's something nagging at you that could be addressed. And I think the point is that it doesn't necessarily need to be anything major either. Maybe it's something fairly small, but it's just causing you a disproportionate amount of stress. And by just dealing with that instead of obsessing about the wrong things, it could make a difference. I don't know, that's just what I got out of it. Anyway, maybe it's not even about that at all. Maybe the message is as simple as modern life is stressful, so take it easy once in a while. And don't forget about human connections, they're pretty important too. But that's about it, I don't really have anything else to say about this one. It's just a well-made, quaint little movie that I found to be quite compelling. And one that offers a lot of depth if you look beyond the somewhat silly surface. Because yeah, admittedly, the idea of a guy going around tuning people's houses does sound a bit ridiculous. But then again, that's coming from a guy who thinks there's something to the idea of feng shui. Not in any sort of mystical or supernatural sense, but in more of a just practical and aesthetic sense. So maybe the fundamental idea of removing noise from your life isn't that out there either. But yeah, would I recommend this thing? I guess sure, especially if you like quaint little dramas. Ones with a bit of a quirky comedic edge to them. But if you don't, then you can probably skip it. Or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.